Hello, my name is Marcos Kostandakis and I will present you the topic Content Personalization Framework in Cultural Roots, the TRACE project case study. Let's first talk about our research group, Intelligent Interaction Research Group. George Karidakis is the founder and coordinator of the group, and the core of the group consists of young researchers of the Department of Cultural Technology and Communication. Our approach regarding this paper: a novel narrative system for cultural roots is proposed that combines user media preference with cultural tourist typologies. How? Starting with the McKercher typology as a user classification research base, which extracts 5 categories of heritage tourism using a questionnaire, an enriched cultural typology is developed, where 3 categories of cultural tourists proposed based on the multimedia data given. Let's see our challenges. The emergence of a recommendation system, recommenders called, and personalization techniques created a smart research field, augmenting cultural heritage visitor experience. Also, UX research in cultural services is limited only to understanding user needs and expectations, but with limited case studies supporting limited interaction. The user profile initialization is an important aspect for personalized cultural applications and a particularly challenging task to tackle. So, related work regarding this paper is the CHESS project. It's a project at the Acropolis Museum of Athens, where the users and the visitors, during the interaction with cultural artifacts, have been taking a profile that adjusts accordingly their needs and following a storytelling procedure. We can see that we're using explicit and implicit data, explicit through a quiz and implicit through a Facebook profile. Also, one more related project is the Emotive project that proposed to explore and design plot-based narratives which involve people emotionally. In example, stories that are emotionally charged, covering different genres: romance, comedy, mystery, etc. Finally, 2 more projects. Google Art project in the left picture. This is a virtual museum tour, and in the right picture, History Pin is a web application collection memories for locations through the digitization of old photos. So let's talk about personalization and user personas. What is personalization? It's based on the assumption that an application can understand the user's needs, while its success relies greatly on the accurate elicitation of the user profile. What is a user persona and typology? We can see 3 types of users in the right picture: Pete, Jennifer, and Brad. Those are representations of major user groups. They help design teams, and their clients emphasize with the needs and preferences of the users. So, a typology consists of several personas that may be adopted or emulated by the visitor. So one persona is Pete, and a typology is all those 3 profiles together. Let's talk about our project, TRACE project. Those are our partners. We have 3 universities: Aegean University with the International Research Group, National University of Athens with LabMat laboratory, and University Elmepa of Crete with the Tourism and Entrepreneurship Research Lab. Also an institution of Katerinis Laskaridis, and 2 companies with very much experience in IT technologies and ubiquitous computing like Dotsoft and Dynacom. What's the main idea of this project? The user follows the historical path of the 17th or 19th century traveler, while maintaining access to a variety of modern sources of information and other traveler experience, as well as having the ability to compose his own journey. So, the typology we've used in TRACE project, given that that will never be a typology that reflects the behavior of all travelers, and studying all the typologies in the past for cultural tourism, we conclude that the McKercher typology is the suitable typology for us. What says McKercher? McKercher developed a cultural typology addressing 2 dimensions: the centrality of cultural tourism and the depth of cultural experience. So we have the serendipitous cultural tourism, the purposeful, the sightseeing, the casual and the incidental. In order to take the necessary information for the users to create the profile, the trace questionnaire has been created. The selection of the questions aimed for simple questions that will expose the basic differences between the 5 categories. So one question, an example is when I travel, I like, and depending on the answer, if we answer to discover the culture of the area I have visited, a purposeful profile takes 10 points. So at the end, the profile with the biggest score is the profile of the user answer the questions. Therefore, after the user have adopted a profile, the results of the questionnaire show the multimedia data that the user will have to take. The next step also is to adapt the valuable digital information for each point of interest to the requirements of the user profile. Let's see our case study. We make a case study to evaluate this procedure through a mobile application in Crete. This work called The Travels in Crete, which took place in 1836 on the island of Crete by Robert Pasley. This platform created during the TRACE project depicts Pasley's tour and allows users to follow his narrative scenarios through their personal smart devices. We can see in the right the screenshots from the mobile application, and in the middle screenshot we can see the 3 of the profiles that the user is using. So, our evaluation. We participated in a focus group discussion regarding the mobile app. 35 users recruited with no previous experience in AR cultural roots mobile applications, but familiar with technologies. Though most of them agree that it was a pleasant educational experience, they learned new things about the old town of Iraklio. In a scale of 1 to 5, the users granted the personalization module and procedure with 4, so they attract them to continue using it after 3 minutes. Most of them appreciate the tasks given as a massive multimedia online experience through social data login, so in order to communicate with other users. Other participants suggested a longer version, adding tasks not strictly related to educational content and including rewards like a serious game. Most of the users agreed with the importance of learning about narratives from travelers between 18th and 20th century through digital technologies in order to preserve local traditional cultures. Most of them also agreed that the animation of the AR content keeps their attention and intrigues them to visit and explore the rest of the cultural roots. So our conclusions. Analyzing the different characteristics of trade profiles in combinations with the peculiarities and the multimedia information types of the roots of the TRACE platform, we augment the cultural user experience. A possible future research direction would be the enrichment of the user and item profile representations by utilizing additional information sources like context awareness, ontologies, or the semantic web. Also, a redesign cycle to ensure that the mobile user interface is needed in order to check the efficiency, validity, and reliability of the questionnaire proposed. Thank you very much for your attention.